Hello. Well, I figured since I'm on the walk and I was thinking about talking about physical fitness, about exercise and the therapeutic role it has in well-being. I mentioned in the last video that I wake up with a little dance and I go to sleep with a broad smile. I think that's largely due to this, coming out here every chance I can, which is every day that I'm not working and it's not raining. And it's usually not raining in LA, so I get out here an awful lot, and my work is seasonal and part-time. So I'm afforded this time. I know if you're working more than 40 hours a week or so, it's going to be a lot harder. So I'm definitely not saying, oh, this is what you should do, but all I'm saying is, for me, walking has been so healing. It's been so tremendously and profoundly healing. When I first started spiritually seeking, I would go on a walk with some hills, not big hills, but small hills. And it was hard. And those hills, man, they felt evil. That lactic acid burn in my muscles just felt, like I said, it felt evil. And I projected a lot of my problems onto those hills, walking those hills. All my anger at my parents or my brother or sister or at myself. But the beauty of a hill is it can handle it. It can handle the blame. It's just metaphorical anyway. And I think, in 2006, I went to an NLP certification up in Canada. And one of the things I really learned about was an NLP swish, which is kind of like a hypnosis technique where you focus intent and you put it into a physical ritual. And I would do that with walking. And little by little, it helped. And as far as weight loss, it helped, but not directly through the exercise. What the biggest gain of exercise for weight loss for me was just feeling better. And then feeling better made me less likely to fill that hole with food. I would overeat. My mom and I, when I was living with my mom, we would go out to Sizzler and I'd have a steak dinner, a 10-ounce steak dinner with French fries and a salad this was before I was vegan, of course, salad with Italian dressing, and there was some bread, I believe. It's been a long time since I've been to Sizzler. And after dinner, we would go grocery shopping for the week. We were a weekly shopping family. And I would buy, they had these cheap, like $5 a pound assorted candies, kind of like a cheap See's candy. And I bought a couple pounds And I'd eat like half a pound that night, even though I wasn't even hungry. I just felt like I just kept having to stuff myself. And I experimented with laxative-based bulimia, but that didn't work, and I'm glad it didn't work, because it doesn't work, not in the long run, but that way is a dead end. And at some point, I tried Weight Watchers for weight loss. I never actually joined the program. My mom had joined the program, so I just followed along with the points and all that stuff, and I lost some weight, but I'd always gain it back, because it's really you're dieting to lose weight so you can get to the weight you want to be, so you can eat what you used to eat before you got, but how you got heavy in the first place. I mean, you just can't wait. Oh man, because you feel confined in a diet. That's a thing. And so I at some point, I forget exactly when, but I decided that I wasn't going to pay attention to weight. I mean, not really. It was a metric, but it's a really poor metric. I wanted to pay attention to how I felt. And the fact is, when I was heavier, I didn't feel better. I actually felt worse. I felt more lethargic and less spry, just less fitness overall. But also, I learned that if I smoked pot every day, within a few short months or weeks, my appetite would go down, and I could just have like a couple candies and set it aside. I'm like, hey, this is great. But the problem is, this was part of that whole cannabis vomiting thing, the scromiting thing, that I would end up always having to quit the cannabis because I would grow intolerant to it, and so and then my appetite would come back in force. But before that, I would lose a bunch of weight, and the first time that happened, I remember telling my mom, I healed my weight problem. I'm healed, because our family talked like that. I normally didn't talk like that, but my mom did, so I used her language. I healed, because she was a Christian Zionist. She never could heal her weight problems, by the way. But no, it was just that the cannabis would block my appetite. I think the main reason why is because cannabis, of course, famously gives people the munchies. So you have that hunger hormone, but then your body downregulates the receptors for it and downregulates endogenous ghrelin, I guess it is. So you stop producing it, so your appetite goes down. It's only the people who occasionally smoke, I think, that get the munchies. If you are a hardcore smoker, you get used to it in short order, and your body downregulates. At least for me, it does. Maybe not for you. So when I would lose weight by smoking cannabis, I didn't feel great either. I felt really pretty bad. I would, especially with my work, with my husband, or then boyfriend, I would get winded all the time. So I'd hit the wall all the time, or bonk, as the cyclists call it. I remember one time we were moving stuff out of this account to put it in storage, and I had to stop and catch my breath all the time. And I am not happy about that. I wasn't happy about that. So that is not the solution. So I'm like, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel good. That's the benchmark. I want to feel good. I want to have energy to be able to work and not feel like I'm running out of gas or anything, or air. Because I would bonk essentially, and or hit the wall, and I would be breathing really hard because my body was it had run out of glycogen and it was trying to burn fat. That sounds good in theory, but it's very difficult. I mean, it takes a while for the body to convert from carbs to fat, to burning fat. It's very difficult. There's a conversion process, and it's hard. And I didn't like it. So I would gain weight again, and I remember people saying, "Oh, when I transitioned, I was 30." I remember them saying, "Oh, you're young. Your skin will go back to normal." Yes, except I keep gaining weight and losing it over these years, and here I am, 56, and I've just recently lost some weight. But here's the thing, I gave up on the whole idea of losing weight to lose weight. I just gave up on that. And I just wanted to feel good. And so that's what I've followed. And I have tried this time restricted eating, also called intermittent fasting. And I tried it multiple times in my life. And every time I tried it, I was like, nuh-uh, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I feel confined by this diet and this way of eating, I should say. But last year, I started doing it like about, I don't know, like October or something like that. October or something like that, and it just clicked. I had my first meal at noon, and I had my second meal at 5, and that's it. And well, I do have a micro meal in the morning, which is like some greens and some turmeric and cacao powder, just to get some nutrients in me. Also to help do a gallbladder flush, because turmeric is supposed to do that. And then the greens have some fiber, so that helps lock up the bile. Anyway, that's kind of arcane specific information. The main thing is that I stopped focusing on arbitrary metrics, and I followed my own path, and it seems to be working. Now, things could change about the specific diet. I could get sick of what I'm doing, and that may happen. But another thing I don't do is I'm not a policeman for myself anymore. Like this intermittent fasting thing, I have feeding windows. Hey, if I'm really hungry, I'll feed outside the feeding window. I'm not a slave to this way of eating. This way of eating serves me, not me serving it. So anyway, hope I don't get a copyright strike there. Let me pause this. Okay, we're away from the music. Anyway, so I just want to conclude the video by mentioning, to me, physical fitness, getting movement, exercise, it's been good for trauma recovery, spiritual seeking. I would listen to I Am That, a MP3 version of that, or Course in Miracles. Not that that's such a great thing to listen to, but it was comforting anyway on the walk. But most of all, being alone with my thoughts, just letting the brain do its thing, heal itself, and physical fitness and exercise just makes me feel good the next day. It doesn't feel all that great like right now, but tomorrow morning I know I'll just feel capital. So thanks for listening.